Hi, I'm Kruno. Thanks for watching EPLAN Essentials. All-electric society. What is it? Why is it important? And what are the alternatives in today's video of EPLAN Essentials Expert Edge? All right, welcome to this episode of EPLAN Essentials Expert Edge. Today with me is Raphael Görner, Executive Vice President of the Business Unit Energy and Power Solutions and host of the show Energy Flash. Raphael Görner, welcome. Thank you for your time.
Hi, yes, thanks. Great to be here.
Raphael, before we start, may you introduce yourself to the guests who don't know you yet?
Sure, yes. With Rittal now for 2.5 years, heading one of the 5 business units and industrial engineer with a focus on power electronics and in general power distribution, history of 15 years in the power grids business, and really enthusiastic to drive forward all the challenges and the changes towards a more electrified society. So therefore, glad to have the opportunity to talk today to you, Kruno.
Thank you. So, Raphael, we've been in communications for a very, very long time, but since the first time we met, we spoke about the topic for this episode, and you mentioned it's the all-electric society. You are the expert here. I don't know anything about the all-electric society. Would you explain us what is the all-electric society?
Yes, sure. And I had today actually a quite interesting question because there was a colleague that asked, okay, what do you think? How much are we in the cloud? Every day, every week, every month, or never? And actually, there is the answer, okay, everybody of us is more or less every day in the cloud because we are using our mobile phone more or less every day, I would say. So in the end, every time you are in the cloud, you need energy to work with that digitalization. And digitalization is really driving forward the energy demand. You can see data centers growing everywhere. And on the other side, we also have a focus to add more energy generation to our, to feed that demand. And there are renewable sources on one side. There are more conventional power plants being built, and all that needs to be interconnected. So the data centers on one side, the power generators on the other side. We also at home consume more energy. We want to charge maybe our electric cars as well. So there is a huge demand to interconnect all these different, on one side, generation units, and on the other side, all the different sources that need power. So we have that, that opportunity to now drive forward a society that really consumes for more or less every interaction electricity. And the all-electric society is really driving or is really looking to shape that way of utilizing electricity in all the different applications.
Okay, that's very, very interesting. So, as far as I understand it's we consume more and more energy, right? And we need more and more source. But why is it important, right? I mean, it worked out in the past, right? That we had enough energy, right? And why do we need to take care about having a society which will guarantee, as far as I understand, that there will be energy there for the future demand? Why is it an important topic in general?
Yeah, and I think in the past we had a very stable power system with large generators and then also large industrial parks that were consuming the electricity. We had not so much demand in our households for energy and for electricity, and that is changing. So we have more and more renewables that feed in the grid. Is it photovoltaic or is it wind? We have wind farms on land. We have built now also wind farms offshore, and all that are intermittent resources that are feeding into the grid or not feeding into the grid. And then we are looking also for balancing the power demands by also adding storage solutions, for example. And that could be large battery storage solutions or storage solutions at our homes. So all that really increases the complexity and requires a higher flexibility from the power grid, requires a higher flexibility from all the different components that are connected. And you need to communicate, or these devices need to communicate with each other. So you also need to build this digital infrastructure. And that on the other side means more data centers, more power demand. So everything is driven nowadays by electricity. And therefore, it's really important to get a strong and solid, all electric society in place.
All right, that means in the past, if I just recap it, in the past, the energy consumption grew linear, and now it's growing faster than linear, so almost exponential, or it's an increased growth. I don't know if it's exponential. But for me, also very interesting topic. What type of strategy is this all-electric society, and who is behind it? What are the interests? Is it mainly a European topic? Is it a global challenge or global problem? And for me, because the majority of my visitors here are from the US, how important is this all-electric society for the US market?
Yeah, and I think it's really a global movement. Of course, maybe there was a starting also in Europe, but on the other side, we have a global world with interconnected companies, interconnected businesses, and interconnected trends. So we have obviously seen already in the 90s and then more in the 2000s a strong growth of wind generation in Europe. But now I think US is one of the market with the strongest growth rates also for wind energy integration. And to really work with that electricity, you need to really have a good system on how to balance also that infeed from the wind power. But on the other side, you have also with Tesla, the largest electric car manufacturer, and at least nowadays one of the most successful ones. So all that needs infrastructure, and we really see the need to, in principle, get whatever possible electrified, and with that have the opportunity to have it interconnected. And of course, there is now a discussion, wouldn't there be also, besides the electric society and the electric economy, also a hydrogen economy? But in the end, yes, that fits well together. So wherever electricity works better, has the better efficiency, the lower losses, electricity will be used. Wherever you maybe have large commercial vehicles, there it's maybe better to in the future move to hydrogen. There will be hydrogen, and all that will be interconnected. There is also the term of power to X, that you really transfer electric energy to molecules, so to hydrogen and vice versa, and really have the opportunity to use energy in general as efficient as possible. And you never know, maybe in the future, we will also have a very good fusion technology. So fusion will also generate in the end electricity, and electricity then will also support the all-electric society. So I don't think it's a European thing. I really believe it's a global thing, because we need to consider how to utilize energy in general as efficient as possible, and there electricity brings a lot of advantage.
All right, thank you so much. While you were talking, I actually threw in two additional questions, which I'm super curious to discuss with you. Why would companies just invest in, for instance, energy generation or like mobile battery station? Is there is there an incentive, right, behind it, right? Maybe in Europe or in the United States, that companies invest and change and go towards this path, or is it just because of you care for the environment, right? And say, okay, now I would like to be more sustainable, right? And for that reason, I'm investing, or as a company, right? In this direction. Does it make sense, the question? So why would somebody who was not yet on the all electric society train care for it, right?
Yeah, and I think if you look at industrial processes, for example, they need to run normally very stable, and we all face power outages. So it happens more often in some areas or less in other areas. And an industrial process, if it's disturbed by a power outage, obviously causes costs. So if you then invest, for example, into your own photovoltaic generation or into a battery that is buffering also energy for a certain time, UPS, for example, uninterrupted power supply, that would help you to, for some time, decouple yourself from the grid and being independent. That would obviously in the end save cost, because your industrial process will run more stable, and with that you can produce more output and obviously have a higher EBIT. So yes, of course, you can always write sustainability on things, but I think in the end it's also a clear economic driven movement that we see here, because we really want to make sure that our processes run stable. And yeah, you don't want your computer to shut down, because then you cannot work. Your mobile phone needs obviously a connection to the mobile network. If the mobile network is down, you have a problem. So everything nowadays needs electricity, needs to be powered, and it's really about the economy and the competitiveness of our industry to make sure that we have a stable and secure power supply.
That's a very good topic. So it's not just fundings from government, the reason, but it's also economic reason. You mentioned also before electric vehicles. So electric vehicles are tied to this all electric society, as I understand it. But could somebody be critical or about it and say electric vehicles is just another hype? So as we know, a lot of hypes in the last hundreds of years creates hundreds and hundreds of companies. The truth is that only a few of those may survive, right? Because they are running out of money and are not able to adjust and scale their businesses to become profitable, because they are at the beginning very cost intensive. So could EV be a bubble, right? And that people after a couple of years decide, or maybe the car makers decide, oh, actually EV is not as sustainable, I'm not able to scale, or there is not such a huge real demand there from the market, and they go back to traditional way of car building. What is your take? I mean, I think I know what you what your answer will be, but
it's maybe an easy one or not, because of course today still petrol engines are very efficient, and if you look at the overall efficiency of the drivetrain of a petrol engine, it's a real good choice. On the other side, if you look on the electric motors and how efficient they are, and if you then consider, okay, it doesn't need to be a battery that is powering the electric motor that is driving the car, could also be a fuel cell that is really generating then in the car the electricity to power the electric motors. Still, the efficiency increase is tremendous. So therefore, I personally believe we will move towards electric motors. What will then power these electric motors in our cars? Okay, we will see. But there, I also believe in competitiveness, in the economies of scale, because that is, I think, what we have seen. Yeah, in the beginning, it was a hype, and only a few electric cars were seen on the road. But if you really focus on designing purely an electric car, like some companies do, and really focus on volume, then you will be soon on a price point that is very attractive. And I think we are at the tipping point there, actually. And you will also see that in the end, this will really be a solution to make the overall system, because obviously your electric car will help the overall system to be more efficient. Why that? Your car is actually, in average, maybe driving 1 hour a day. So 23 hours, it's available to be connected to the power grid. And you have today in the electric cars a large battery installed, which maybe not today yet possible, but in the future could be used as an additional balancing element in the power grids at your home, an additional support to make sure that you are always secured, even if there's a power grid outage. And these are things that are really helping the overall system to be more efficient, to be more stable, and in the end, generate a more comfortable life for yourself.
One thing which is very interesting for me, or what I'm always worried with when it comes to batteries, right, is the lifetime. So that there is always something new, what is something better, and then what are you doing with the old battery, right? For instance, you're purchasing an EV car, and tomorrow it's already an old technology. It will be a pivotal topic for me if those old batteries can be then reused or repurposed to do something else and not wasted, right? Because I'm questioning, right, how much electric waste is then coming from the batteries, right? But if we could repurpose those, that the batteries are purposing something else and don't have to be wasted, that might lead to more acceptance, right, for those people who may be skeptical.
Correct. No, and I think there is still, even if the batteries could no longer be used within the cars, there is still a lot of capacity left. And some of your viewers might know, of your audience, that Rittal is obviously producing great enclosures. And we have seen already the first installations where these second life batteries are used within Rittal enclosures to then power stationary installations. And that is one example on what could be done with second life batteries. And I was just visiting a few weeks ago from the German car manufacturer Audi, a large second life battery installation. So that was tremendous. So that really powered their one industrial area and gave backup support for 1 hour. And on the other side, the batteries and the material in it are very have a high value. So, and you could still then reuse also the material inside the batteries for certain other applications. So this circular economy will become also for the batteries quite important. And I guess in the end, again, competitiveness and the economy of scale will decide where is it better to use these no longer to be utilized batteries for either stationary installations or to be repurposed and the material to be reused for different aspects.
Well, I'm so happy that people were already thinking about repurposing batteries, and I didn't solve it right now, and I didn't came up with a new solution to it. But I'm leading now to a final question, right? So you taught me so much in the last 20 minutes, and I appreciate it, and hopefully the viewers will also find it beneficial. So there is a higher energy demand in the future, right? That means changes needs to happen, but what alternatives to the all-electric societies are there, if any?
Yeah, so a quite drastic alternative might be we consume less digital content. So we throw away our mobile phones. We limit ourselves in utilizing the cloud. That could be an opportunity because then we need less electricity. On the other side, as said, there may be other things that could replace electricity so that you're not transporting electricity from one point to the other. but transporting hydrogen through the world and use that as energy storage and energy powering source for whatever applications. Maybe there are also other things that we don't know today, but for the moment, at least, from an efficiency perspective, from a cost perspective, definitely electricity and this view on everything that can be electrified will be electrified. I think there is not a real alternative.
All right. Raphael, with this, we are concluding our Expert Edge for today. For all the viewers who watched until now, please make sure to follow Raphael's LinkedIn account, as well watch every of his episode, Energy Flash. Raphael, again, thank you so much for participating in today's episode. Wish you all the best until the next time.
Thank you, Kruno, for this opportunity. And yeah, best regards also to your audience. Thank you.